Welcome to another part of my documentation for the game I have created, A Night of Laughter. Now, in this part, I'm going to talk about what I like about the game and how it has actually changed from my original brief. So, the original brief given was to create a first-person/third-person shooter game based around the concept of Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the film from the 1980s. Once I heard this brief, I wasn't too happy with it. I wasn't a big fan of clowns. However, I decided to put work to it and decided to create a horror-style game where I could actually kill the clowns, and I called it A Night of Laughter. However, along the creation process, I learned and changed many things that I started off believing I would be able to create and wanted to put in my game. So one of those main things is the setting. So as you can tell from here, compared to the videos of me presenting my idea for the game, it is much different. I wanted to create a game in a massive forest with loads of different settings in a big open world style game. However, I decided to change that based on complications that I found among the process of creating the game. These complications sprung from too many ideas, I believe, trying to work all at once, and I just didn't use it well as best I could, my ideas, and they all conflicted and broke each other. So instead I created a supermarket setting horror game. There's not many horror games set in a supermarket that I could find, at least. There was a few. However, clowns never really played a part in it, and I thought it'd be quite funny, since in the movie the clowns go into the town and there is a scene where they are in the supermarket and they are, disrupting the supermarket. However, I wanted to branch out from the comedy clowns that you see, and I wanted to create something that was scary. So I went onto Maya and I actually created a clown. However, I could not put that asset in here because of rigging, which is something that I'd definitely finish if I had more time on the game. Here is the clown though. As you can see, it has a red scaled look to it. It is the standard Unreal mesh used, but however, instead of it just being, the standard grey of Unreal, and you could see that it would be within the dark, the red really does create a fearful element, and the ambient light that bounces off it means that when your torch actually sees the clown, there's almost like a flash, and it jolts the player. It's like a jump scare for the player. Another element that I really liked about my game was the cel shaded look that I went for. I was nervous to try create this look. I was nervous it would come off as too cartoony or too basic. However, it created a really nice vibe. As you can see here in the aisles, it's been described as many things, as cute, as nice, as warming. It's a contrast to the horror element. In a photorealistic game, you can almost expect there to be violence or a strong undertone of horror, and you prepare yourself going into it. However, when you play a horror game that's got a cel shaded look, you're not sure what to expect. Cel shaded is normally reserved for games such as The Legend of Zelda and happy games and child games. However, I wanted to create a scary game using a cel shaded look that would be different and unique, and I really liked that. I created all these assets myself on Maya, and then imported them into Unreal, as you can see here. Each asset is singular, so it's a separate asset. I like this. I had a problem with scaling once I built a train station previously, and the scaling of it changed all the objects in it because I created it in its entirety, whereas now I create the shells of something. So for example, the supermarket, I create the shell or just the singular aisle and then add the cans to it itself instead of adding them together on Maya, because I found a scalability issue that if you didn't know the exact scalability of the things you were going to create and you didn't create them to that scale, then when you rescaled them, the cans would be giant. They would be bigger than the player himself. So I decided to do them separately, which did take time and took more time to, again, put them in. However, I used a reusability technique where I just used the same kind of can layout and changed the materials on them. As you can see, the base materials on them are different. One's pink, one's green. And that was quite simple to do. That was using Maya's own materials, such as Lambert, Blinn, Phong, and so on and so forth. I also like the genuine look of the game, the layout of the supermarket. It's not a complicated layout. With the objectives that you have to complete in the game, it's not too bad to actually navigate your way through, even in the dark. However, it still adds an element of running. So the aisles, the main reason I decided to do aisles and elongate the aisles as well in the middle was so that you could run between aisles, or maybe you would enter and you'd think, I could go through aisle 2 and that would have no clown, or aisle 3 and would there be a clown in there, kind of thing. So that's something that I wanted to incorporate, as well as the immersive factor on the aisles, as you can see with this one having blood, this one having boxes for a disused aisle, this one being stocked but having some things knocked off, again this one being stocked, this one being stocked with boxes, and the last one being a total mess with toilet paper and that all over the floor. Which is something I wanted to have. If I peek into here, the maintenance room was something I was really happy with. The look of it does shout to me anyway, a maintenance room. All the objects in there, I looked up many times. My inspirations a lot of the time was simple, just to look up real world applications of things, such as a maintenance room, what was in it, and then to take that and make them into a cell shaded version on Maya was something that I enjoyed doing. Something that I am really happy about, and I did use that exact method, was the cars that you can see here. So if I go to this car here is modelled on a Chevrolet 1988 car. I wanted to create a police car, and I wanted to use an old style. I was going to set this game in 1980, however, due to changing the game, I believe that I've changed it to, it doesn't really reflect a certain time period, but it would be after that period due to the electronic doors and that of the supermarket, and the key cards and such. But the cars still, I wanted to keep an old car. It is a disused supermarket, that is the whole point of it. I did want there still to be old cars and not the brand new kind of cars, to show that it hasn't been used for a while. If people are assuming it's in present day, then why are there old cars here? Or if it is in the olden times, why are, certain other things here? That's something that I wanted to leave up to the audience, up to the players. They can decide. Many things in my game is like that, such as the replayability of the game. You can come in and you can play the game different each time. You can storm the supermarket and try to quickly rush the AI so that you can win quick, or you can come in slow and try stealthily navigate the supermarket and try and make sure that you never actually bump into one or lose any health at all. Something else that I like is the health. You don't know your health, so you have to manually watch it. If you play a couple of playthroughs, you will know that 3 hits is what kills you, unless a insta-hit happens, which is where the AI kind of bugs out and hits you 3 times by accident, which kills you instantly. But 3 hits, you have to manually watch your hits. You can't just rely on a health bar, something that I put in my other designs and my other options. As for the game itself, there is no HUD once you're playing. There's only an objectives menu and the torch that is in your hand. The torch does not run out, which is something that I debated toying with, but then thought it would have to run out relatively quick for some people who did rush the game and wanted to quickly get it out of the way and get away from the clowns and not spend too much time in the supermarket. Therefore, the trigger that would have to be set for the torch would be quite short, and for some players would ruin the feel. So I kept it quite relatively easy. The no HUD design was to stop there being anything to rely on. It was purely you and your abilities to complete this game. Nothing was to help you. I had loads of inspiration to put in the Halo Reach or the Black Ops, HUDs that has a lot of helpful hints like the ammo and the health and that. And I did actually incorporate that in my previous attempt. However, on further review of it, I decided it just clogged up the screen, and it was something that wasn't needed in my game. I don't believe it's needed to have a HUD in every game, and it's something that I didn't think was essential to the game and that players could do without. And from the reviews and from the people playing it, I have got that reaction that people aren't too bothered of having a HUD or not. It purely depends on the game, and for this game, the HUD is not necessary to the game. So yeah, a lot of the assets in it is what I'm most proud of. I'm most proud of the style of them and how I actually created them. There's no asset that was too hard to create or spent too long on. I'd say the cars are what took me the most time, or the character model that I made, which I will fly over to you here. And that is the character model that I've created. It was decent character in my opinion. The reason I didn't use it was because I didn't get around to making a face. Something that I would, again, further time I would add to. The main two things that I would like to improve about the game are the AI look. I don't like it being the Unreal mesh because I like knowing that I've created everything in the game. Or I would probably change the main character being just the mesh of the arms instead of the actual full body, which I wanted to incorporate with the game. Changes to the game, however, the biggest changes, I would say personally for me, I would like to have finished the game that I previously tried to make, but the shooting function did not work. So then I came into a stealth idea, and I did enjoy making a stealth game. Me personally, I don't play a lot of stealth games where it requires you not to actually shoot to kill. It requires you just to hide or run or evade. But it actually worked. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the way it turned out. I'm happy that with the assets that I used, the cel shaded look, as you're trying to avoid this, crazy clown thing that you're trying to wonder, is it a clown, is it an alien, what is it? You're also admiring or feeling immersed from this cel shaded look, which when people said they felt immersed into a horror game, it felt good because obviously photorealism is linked with immersion, and it's believed that to some people that is the only kind of genre or the style of game that will get you fully immersed. But no, people saying they were immersed in a cel shaded game made me quite happy to create one. I like the map layout, as I said. I would like to make the map bigger and possibly add levels. That was something I was debating doing. I would like to add levels so that the game had a further thing to play to. So instead of just doing the same objectives every time, I wanted more replayability. That's something that I've mentioned a few times in this video, and I want to put in my games in the future, to have a replayability. Almost like a survival mode is something that I toyed with the idea of it, but I didn't actually incorporate it. Again, time constraints is something that links to that. With my previous presentation, I did mention many things that have changed. However, the game is still the base idea that I had of killer clowns. The question is, am I happy with this game? I am happy with the game I've created. I believe that I could have done more, given more time, and if certain things had worked out and I hadn't had to, do other things. However, that is a part of creating a game. There is things that come up and sometimes you can't sort them, or you find other solutions, and this is the solution I found to the problem of that I had with the other one, with the Night of Laughter. So therefore, I believe that changing the name of this to Surprise Slaughter or Supermarket Slaughter, or something along those lines, is much better than A Night of Laughter, as it suits this supermarket theme. And yeah, so that was the review of my game, the look at my game, certain things that I like about it. I hope you enjoyed.